All right, we are back here. An annual tradition here on the Just and the Suffering podcast, the Oscar preview here. Joining me as always, Barstool Sports' own resident film critic, Jon Stanko. Stanko, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mike. How you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good. May I air one gripe with the Oscars this year before we get started?
Sure, start off on a high note. Let's go.
Like, why is it on the same day as Selection Sunday?
To be fair, I mean, it might be a good thing people would turning on their TVs from 6 to 7 for the selection show. They hope they keep their TVs on and turn to ABC for 8 o'clock. I don't really know, but there aren't many people who have overlying demographics in terms of caring about the Oscars and then caring about Selection Sunday. I think we're maybe a couple of the few. So I guess they thought it was all right.
I say it's a very me problem because I feel like I'm gonna have to do a lot of work that night. So I don't know when I'm getting to the Oscars.
True. I'm working a Barstool Sports Selection Sunday show, and that's going to go to at least 7:30. So I will probably be watching the Oscars on my phone on the train on the way home.
Yeah. That's certainly fun here for sure here. So let's get dive into this one here. Because I mean, obviously, I feel like there's no way this summer will be anywhere near as memorable as last year's was. I don't think we're getting another slap.
No, I don't think we're getting another slap. I'll be curious whether or not they make fun of the slap. I hope that they do. I'm not entirely sure that they will. But nothing is going to tap what live television was last year, and the internet being all watching the same exact thing at the same moment. They just got to find some way to kind of capture half of that audience, and they consider it a success.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm glad to see like Kimmel's there as the host this year. I feel like having him there, I think ups our chances of them having this reference in a joking fashion.
Yeah, I mean Kimmel is a safe bet, right? Everyone likes him. He's hosted shows before. He's used to the flack that comes after the shows inevitably. So, and I think most of the celebrities there have a relationship with him just because they've been on his show or they know who he is. So, I don't know. He's an expert at writing jokes for network TV and I think he's gonna have to do the same for this. So we'll see. No Will Smith in attendance though. That's the one thing we have guaranteed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Will Smith's not gonna be there for a while, but let's talk about some of these nominees here. We got a lot of Best Picture nods, a lot of people off the board here. So, like, you're as the movie guy, what's your thought on this crop of movies we got on the award lists?
My overall crop is that I'm not too impressed with the movies that I've seen thus far. I think just for context standpoint, I've seen 7 of the 10 best pictures, as well as a sprinkling of the other categories as well. You were telling me before we started recording, you've seen 9 out of the 10. You're ahead of me in this game.
Yeah, well, I had to, sort of get try was have my homework done in time for talk to you.
That's fair. But so I have 7 out of the 10 left, or 7 out of the 10 done. My big thing, Mike, is I watch a lot of movies on the train. I'm trying not to watch Best Picture nominees on my phone, so I'm trying to find time at home to watch these. But I have my schedule planned out. I'll have them all done, and I know a bit about them. So overall, though, the movies fine. Not a lot of outstanding movies, in my opinion. And to be fair, the front runners, here's a little spoiler, not a biggest fan of the front runners either in terms of the odds to win Best Picture. So I'm a little bit let down, but with that being said, I think there are some hidden gems in there that are being underappreciated.
Yeah, I know for one, I'll get to in terms of like one that you have not seen. I feel like it's a hidden in the hidden gem category. I feel like I don't think it's gonna be a year that we're getting like a surprise like Coda last year winning. I feel like we're getting like more one of the like safer picks is gonna be the winner this year for Best Picture.
Yeah, there's not as many uplifting movies like Coda, if you will. Coda had a happy ending. It was a family film. It was people coming together and unifying for a big message, and there were happy tears at the end. There aren't many of those
Oh
movies.
no.
In fact, though, The Front Runner is one of those movies, so that maybe that's why it's leading the pack as of today. But there aren't that many vibrant and happy movies in terms of this year's nominees.
Yeah, for sure here. So we also talked this last year. Like the guys some snubs. Obviously, last year the big one was Denny Villeneuve not being nominated for Best Director. Doom was nominated for every single technical category ever. So like, what are the snubs this year for you?
I mean, Mike, where the fuck is Nope? Like, Jordan Peele is one of the best young filmmakers in Hollywood. All the critics love the movie. Like, it got conversation after the fact, and it's nowhere. It's literally nowhere,
Yeah.
nowhere in the nominations. And I think that's definitely a miss. Personally, I think the Batman deserved more nominations. I thought that was a worthy nominee just because it was a fantastic superhero movie at the best of the year based off the reviews and stuff like that. So I think that's a big miss. And for me, in terms of like a movie that had the technical aspect and bringing everything together, it was a long journey. It was a passion project. Where is Joseph Kosinski in terms of best director for Top Gun Maverick? One of the best movies of the year, the biggest box office success, resurrected the movie theater industry. and he's nowhere to be found in the best director category. I have a big gripe with that.
Yeah, I feel like the problem I have with some of these, like the Academy selectors here, I feel like they're very much like they don't like to give the awards to like the popcorn movies where they get the audience come in to see them. I feel like Nope sort of fell in that category for them in terms of like it's much more popular. They like to go like we're looking for the obscure, like heavy like acting movies that like get our attention for artistry as opposed to like what the general audience actually likes. So I feel like that's like stuff like Kaczynski doesn't get nominated and stuff for reasons like that.
Can you say that though? I mean, I agree with you that the Oscar does tend to go towards the movies that nobody can see or has seen before. Like everyone's talking about The Whale, but where do you watch The Whale? I talked to a buddy who had to illegally download it and stream it on Discord in order to watch it, and everyone's like, "Brendan Fraser's gonna win." I was like, "Great! I love to watch the movie without having to pay an exorbitant fee or just illegally download it." But in terms of like like Best Picture nominees, you have Top Gun Maverick over $1 billion. Avatar: The Way of Water gonna maybe be the number biggest grossing movie of all time, possibly if it just keeps on going. So there are some like audience favorites in here if you look fiscally, but in terms of like when you get down to the more nitty gritty categories, it kind of dwindles back to the more indie and the more Sundance and that kind of more deeper movie, quote unquote.
Yeah, for sure. Here, let's go into some of these categories here. In terms of the technical categories here, like there are a bunch of these. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Which one attracts your attention the most?
I think the film editing category is very interesting, Mike. Just quickly going through the five, you got the Banshees of Inisherin, you got Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. I think that this category is going to say a lot about what the night is going to hold. Um, First of all, this list has my two favorite movies of the year, Top Gun Maverick and Tar. They're my two favorite movies, but I think this category is huge for Everything Everywhere All at Once. First of all, Mike, before we get into that too much, what did you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once? The audience darling this year, and now the critics are also getting on it as well.
I love that movie very much. Like I said, like I was very much into it. I like the aspects that Michelle Yeoh has to play in that movie. He Kwan, I think, is had a great performance in it as well. Plus, I thought, especially coming a year where we're all about the multiverse, and we saw how terribly Doctor Strange 2 did at it. The fact that we got a good multiverse movie, and it was not a sci-fi drama, was very exciting for me.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I gave it a B. It's not one of my top 10. I thought the Everything Everywhere All at Once was trying to be too many things at once. It was trying to be a multiverse movie. It was trying to be an anime movie. It was trying to be a family drama. It was trying to bring together a bunch of different things that culture cares about all at once and make it one coherent story, which for the most part, you understood what was going on, but it never sat still to let the things simmer on you.
Is that a
So
pun on
that's
the hot dog fingers?
I hated the hot dog fingers. The dildo fight scene was too much for me. Once I saw the hot dog fingers, though, I was out. I was like, this is just not a movie for me.
Yeah.
It frankly, it's too imaginative. Like it takes too many leaps and bounds. There are huge moments where like big mother daughter conversations are happening, and then the grandfather in a wheelchair will come storming in and crash through walls and just delay any emotional feeling that you're having. You can't sit still and let the emotions kind of weigh on you. That was my problem with it. But in terms of the film editing, it's fantastic. I admit that the movie is exceptionally well crafted. Just subjectively, it's not my favorite type of movie. So with this category in film editing, if Everything Everywhere All at Once wins, I think that is going to be massive movement for it to win Best Picture and momentum for it going forward. But if it doesn't, then things get very interesting for the rest of the evening, I think. So I think this one, if it's announced early, is going to be a big forebear for what's to come the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think in terms of the non-traditional categories, the one I'm most excited for, obviously, is I think Best Original Song has some heavy hitters in it this year too.
Okay, so I've only seen, I think, three of the five movies nominated in it. And I have a rule that I don't listen to the songs unless I've seen it in the context of the movie. So, what are your thoughts on the original song category?
I think like Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, I think is obviously the sentimental favorite. People love it here, but Rihanna's Lift Me Up from Black Panther 2, I think is also very good.
I heard good things about it. You get Rihanna with the halftime show, then you get her at the Oscars too. I mean, American culture may pass out if that's the case. But I mean, I heard good things about it. Black Panther Wakanda is it's on my phone to be downloaded and watched. It has three nominations. I got to see it, but I don't know much about that category just because I haven't seen everything yet. My personal vote, I would have voted Ciao Papa from Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which was snubbed in numerous categories because that song brought me to tears. So that would have been my vote, but didn't even get nominated.
All right, let's go on to some other categories here. Let's talk about adapted screen, which is a lot of fun because we have obviously Top Gun Maverick is in here. One of the few nominations for Glass Onion is in. Knives Out Mystery is in there. Also, All Quiet on the Western Front is in there. So I think there's a lot of heavy hitters in this one too.
There are. I was shocked Top Gun Maverick got in here, to be honest with you. I love the movie, Mike. Absolutely love it. I don't know if it's necessarily for its screenplay. Like, I don't know if I'm like really remembering the dialogue and stuff like that. I'm remembering the moments. I'm remembering the songs and the score. Jennifer Connelly being beautiful and Tom Cruise being the man. But I don't know if I would have had it in best adapted screenplay. I thought there were some better options that were left on the table. But you were talking before about how All Quiet on the Western Front is a dark horse and how people love it. It's up for best adapted screenplay. If it wins this, maybe it makes a push for best picture.
I mean, we'll get to that one in a minute. Best, like, All Quiet Western Front, I think, is a lock to win the best international feature because that's in
Oh
that
yeah.
category too. So I feel like if it wins this one, you might be on the lookout here. Maybe it steals the best picture category.
Yeah, I mean it's the biggest shoe in of all time that it wins best international feature. Like hands down,
Yeah.
without a doubt, put your house on it responsibly.
Yeah. All right. Off next here, original screenplay. You mentioned here, you've seen 4 of the 5 here. It's Banshees at Sharon, Everything Ever All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. I think it's a fun category too.
This is a fantastic category. Fantastic. Um what first of all, what were your thoughts on the Banshees of Inisherin, the new Martin McDonagh movie?
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. So while I think the acting was superb, I didn't think the screenplay was that great. I already made my qualms about Everything Everywhere All at Once. The Fablemans is on my list. I'm just not super excited to watch it because I have the same feelings that I have with Steven Spielberg's The Post. It's going to be good. I'm going to like it. I'm just not very excited.
Yeah.
And then we have Tar and Triangle of Sadness, two incredibly interesting movies, Mike.
Yeah.
Very interesting watches. What were your thoughts on Tar and Triangle of Sadness?
They were both very good. Triangle of Sadness, I think, fits more for this category for me because the way they went with the story was wild.
The story is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely nuts. But for me, it's Tar.
Yeah.
Tar, Todd Fields created a world where people thought that Kate Blanchett's Lydia Tar was a real person. Like they went and looked her up as if this was based off a true story. He created a world that people thought was real. He recreated a character that people Googled because they thought it was real. That's a testament not only to Kate Blanchett's talent, Todd Field as a director, but also as a writer. There was so much lingo brought in from the maestro community or whatever, like a community that I never thought I would have any interest in. Yet when I was done with that movie, I wanted to be sucked in to those orchestra pits and I wanted to learn more about that world. So for me, it's Tar with this original screenplay because he tackles a world nobody knew anything about, incredibly unique take. The ending was perfect, absolutely perfect, and it allowed Kate Blanchett to give what was, in my opinion, the best performance of the year. So that's why I'm going to go with Tar for best original screenplay.
Yeah, that's for sure here. We'll go now to best sound. I think is a lot of fun here because you met these categories number here: All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. Here, I remember talking about this category a few years ago. What was the movie about the singer who was going deaf?
Uh, Sound of Metal.
Yeah, that one I remember was a big like best sound winner here. This one, 4 of the 5 you've seen, the fifth might also be a good candidate for this award as well.
Yeah, this one's interesting. The thing is, Elvis being nominated is going to get nominated because it's a musical and it people seem to like it. I didn't think it was that good. I thought Austin Butler was good. What did you think of Elvis, Austin Butler, and then I'm curious what you thought of Tom Hanks as well.
Oh, Tom Hanks was bad in that movie. I
He
think
was so bad.
what we should have like what was this is oversight by us. We did the LEPs of 2022 pop culture. Tom Hanks should have been in that category.
I mean, he should have been between this and Pinocchio. Good Lord, Tom Hanks. Come
Bad
on,
year.
man.
Bad year.
So Elvis is not getting my vote. Sorry, terribly sorry. In terms of the Batman, love the movie, though I think of the score more than I think of the sound. Although I go and rewatch that car chase scene probably at least once every 2 months because one of my favorite scenes of the year. For me, it's between Avatar: The Way of Water and Top Gun Maverick because I've seen those two. and it's Top Gun Maverick, baby.
Yeah.
You get those jets, you get those swooshing in the air. My heart gets racing. My nostalgia gets cruising. It's the need for speed. Incredible to capture all that, not only on video, but also the sound. You felt like you were in the jet with the people. You watch this movie in theaters, you're ready to fly 1,000 miles per hour and reach Mach 10. So I'm going to go with Top Gun Maverick on this, though I can understand from a war movie standpoint, All Quiet on the Western Front, those typically do very well in categories like this.
Yeah, I also got to mention a technical category. I think the bigger lock than All Quiet on the Western Front winning international film is Avatar: The Way of Water is winning the visual effects, like running away.
Oh yeah, I didn't even consider anything else in that category. Again, absolute shoe in. What'd you think of Avatar: The Way of Water?
It works very well. I'm at the second hour. There were points like sort of like getting lost in the plot. You start watching the screen, going like, "Ooh, this looks cool." You kind of forget what you're
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, I thought the last hour of The Way of Water was James Cameron politely telling everyone to suck it and be
Yeah.
like, I still got it. Because that was an hour-long war movie with blue people, and you were invested in every single moment. It was James Cameron reaching back into his bag with T2 and just those classic action scenes, inventive kills, unique visuals. Maybe a little bit too much of kids being handcuffed to the railing. He went back to that a couple times, but uh, in terms of like the visual effects and also the sound, Way of Water is great. But for this category here, I'm still leaning with Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, my one critique of the movie was that they did a bad job sort of telling us the names of his two sons. That sort of hurt
Oh,
me. I was trying
oh
to
yeah,
figure out wait, who's the one who died? And like,
yeah. I don't remember any of the people's names. You're not there for the names. You're there for the visuals and there for James Cameron putting something in front of your eyeballs that you've never seen before.
plus in terms of visual effects, teenage Sigourney Weaver is wild.
I thought she did fine. I was a little bit bummed we didn't like learn why her character is so mysteriously connected to Mother Nature. But Pandora still has mysteries for us to unfold, and we're going to meet the Fire Nation in the third Avatar movie, and hopefully we'll get more answers about. I think her name is Kiki, in the third one.
Yeah, if I might, is it Fire Age? Will remind you of like the act of the Avatar cartoon.
I seriously, it's based off that, right?
No, I don't
I mean,
think.
we can't dance. I know it's not, but like we can't dance around it anymore. If the Fire Nation is the evil people, I mean, we had we're going through. We have Toph. Toph was basically the first movie. Then you got the second movie. You got the Waterbenders. You go into the Firebenders in the third one. The fourth one's going to be in the clouds, and
Yep.
it's going to be the Airbenders. And the fifth one's going to bring them all together. Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's for sure. Here, get some of the acting categories. Best supporting actor. You got Brendan Gleeson from Banshees and Sharon, Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway, Judd Hirsch from The Fablemans, Barry Cogan in The Banshees and Sharon, and Kehi Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, what do you think about this category?
One, I was so happy Brian Tyree Henry got nominated. Have you seen Causeway? It was on Apple TV Plus.
I've not seen that. I know I saw him pop up in Bullet Train in a weird spot.
Bullet Train was interesting. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was great.
Yep.
The movie though not good. Was disappointed by it. But anyways, back to Causeway. Strong recommended watching Causeway. It's Brian Tyree Henry and Jennifer Lawrence putting on an actor's clinic in a movie that doesn't have a ton of plot, but you still are invested in every minute. So I was stoked to see him get nominated, though I don't think he has a chance of winning. I mean, I think Hugh Kwan's gonna win because of his story. People love him. He's won pretty much everything. Though he wouldn't be my vote, I would go for Barry Keoghan for Banshees of Inisherin because his character is tragic and he's the one thing I remember most from that movie. But Ki Kwan is gonna win for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I feel like it's inevitable as last year's supporting actor going to Coda.
Yeah, again, I think last year's performances. I think this year's crop of best supporting actors, I don't think there are that many unbelievable performances. Like I think back to J.K. Simmons and Whiplash, where like he could have gone up against the best actors and won just because of what he did. None of these performances like were like you have to see it absolutely 100%. They're all very good, and for me, it's just personal preference.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to best supporting actors here. No, you haven't seen Black Panther 2 yet, but like you acknowledge this too. Angela Bassett's winning this award, and I would say I haven't seen the movie. I would concur. This she deserves this award.
Jamie Lee Curtis won at the SAG Awards,
Yeah.
so it might not be as etched in stone as you think. But I agree with you. I do agree that Angela Bassett's going to take this one home. I think this is the chance where Black Panther is going to get its award because I'm not entirely sure if it's going to win for Best Original Song. I think this is it's more sure bet.
Yeah. I mean, this would be something too, and like probably one of the worst years that Marvel had in terms of content. They win an Oscar this year.
Yeah, I mean but she's the one who carries that movie from everything I've heard. I didn't realize Wakanda Forever is over 2.5 hours long. So that's going to be an investment for me on a couple train rides. But if she's as good as everyone says she is, she'll make the time fly.
Oh, she's great. She carries that movie when, like, in terms of like her character being like, because I think I'll spoil a little bit for you in terms of the beginning of the movie that like basically after T'Challa dies and she ends up taking over like as the leader of Wakanda again. She's the leader of Wakanda in the movie, and like her acting in that role was very, very, very awesome.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for good acting. So we'll see. Again, I think she would give a great speech. She would give some Emmerich to Chadwick Boseman as well, and everyone would cheer about that. So I think we're in store for that.
Yeah. Next up here, best actor here. I know this is the one you want to rant about the fact that the whale's not available really anywhere.
Freaking man, I just want to watch it. Like Darren Aronofsky, love him or hate him, he makes interesting movies. I just want to watch this movie. I can't find it anywhere. I'm not trying to illegally download stuff anymore. I'm not in high school. Just let me watch the movie. Let me buy it for $10, rent it for $10 even. But everywhere is like $20 are not available. So I've only seen Austin Butler and Colin Farrell. Those are the only ones I can talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So of those two, who would you pick? That's exactly who I've seen as well in this category.
Yeah, I would go with Colin Farrell just because, frankly, I think both these performances are very good. Colin Farrell blends a bit of humanity and comedy with the screenplay that Martin McDonough wrote. Austin Butler just basically is under the microscope the entire Baz Luhrmann movie of Elvis, and he's still able to shine through. So it's kind of a tiebreaker, and I'm going with the movie that I liked more, The Banshees of Inisherin. That's pretty much what I'm going for. Even though I think if Butler were to win the Academy Award, it would vault his career and make him more popular than he's already become, which would be good to create a new Hollywood star with a trophy already in hand. But Colin Farrell's had a hell of a career, and he gives a hell of a performance. So I'm going with Banshees and Colin Farrell.
Yeah, if I had to pick on my, I would go Austin Butler for this category.
All right. I mean, I can't argue against it. Like Austin Butler in the I think it was the '68 comeback special for Elvis when he sings,
Yeah,
unbelievable scene. Probably top five scene for me this year in terms of like just glued to the TV watching it. But you want to know why? There weren't many cuts in that scene. That Baz Luhrmann wasn't on the chopping room floor going every half millisecond showing you a different angle of something. You just let Butler cook, and guess what? It worked.
yeah.
So that says my thoughts about Elvis as well. Butler still was able to shine through. He was very good.
Best actress now. I think you and I are both agreeing here. This is the Kate Blanchett versus Michelle Yeoh category.
These are the only two I've seen. This is the only two I care about.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts before I get into mine between Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh?
I would be happy either one of them. One, I think Kate Blanchett was better.
I'm glad that we agree.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna have to fight you a little bit, but I'm glad that you agree. What about Kate Blanchett's performance did you like the most?
I just like the fact that like she really, I mean, I give Michelle Yeoh credit also because she's basically playing 50 different versions of one character in this movie, which is a very difficult task. But like Kate Blanchett really like dives deep into like this psyche of this character, and like you said, she gets people to believe that this is based on a real person. To the point of have people going on the internet and googling who is Lydia Targ.
Yeah, I can't unsee the scene of her teaching at Juilliard, I believe, when she's belittling that student for having thoughts about certain composer who fathered illegitimate children. And she's just belittling him and just digging nails into him and tearing apart his soul until he leaves. That scene of her monologuing in that cavern of a classroom sticks with me maybe more than any scene I've seen this year. Incredible
Yeah.
stuff. And sorry, Michelle Yeoh, you have no scene like that. Every scene that Michelle Yeoh was great in Everything Everywhere All at Once, or at least the ones that I remember her in. Ke Kwan was also in it. Ke Kwan, sorry. And he was better than Michelle Yeoh in those scenes. Like when he says near the end, in a different world or a different life, I would have liked doing taxes and running a laundromat with you. That was his scene. It wasn't Michelle Yeoh's. So that's why I got to go Kate Blanchett here for Best Actress.
Yeah, I think she's gonna win if I would put my money on it. I feel like Michelle Yeoh is a sentiment for like a lifetime. She was sort of like best actress win, but I think it's gonna be Kate Blanchett.
She'll still get that moment if her film wins Best Picture because she'll get to speak on it for sure.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like this is also sort of like the moment we had back, I think, like in 2016 when we were trying to see whether Sylvester Stallone would be supporting actor for Creed.
Right. I think Michelle Yeoh has a better chance with that than Sylvester Stallone did though.
Yeah, because I remember that one. I was one of the ones I was really invested in. I was disappointed he did not win, but I understood why.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Next up here, best director. I've seen all five of these here. You have not seen the Fabelmans yet. This is Martin McDonough, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg, Todd Field, and Ruben Ostlund.
Interesting crew here. Again, haven't seen the Fablemans. Shame on me, but Spielberg doesn't really make bad movies. Hell of a run for him between West Side Story and the Fablemans. So he's cooking with gas right now. But for me, going through this, I think for the record, I think the Daniels are going to win, but I would go with Todd Field for again creating a universe that people thought was real, allowing Kate Blanchett to cook, and he also wrote the movie as well. I got to go with Todd Field here, though I don't think you should put any money on it or really think he's going to win because I think this is the Daniels to lose.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if the Daniels are winning film editing here, I think the Daniels are getting the best director too.
Correct. Absolutely 100%. There's a correlation there.
Absolutely. Here. And last but not least, here, the Best Picture award ones here, though. The 10 nominees are now All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar the Way of Water, Banshees at Sharon, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, Women Talking. I want to say, like, when the noms came out, I was probably something I'd seen 3 of the 10 before we even got to the at this point.
There you go. There you go.
Admittedly, 2 of them were Top Gun Maverick and Elvis, but still.
Hey, those still count. Those
Yeah.
still count. I should say we talked about blockbusters and how the Academy doesn't usually like to recognize them. I mentioned 3 of them. I should have been mentioning Elvis as well. Elvis made a crap ton of money and was immensely popular. So
Yeah.
you got Elvis, you got Avatar, you got Top Gun Maverick. You got those 3. Those are huge.
Yep. And none of them are going to win, most likely.
I would agree. None of them are going to win.
Yeah. So let's go right here. Who you think? Who you think is going to win? You think this is an Everything Everywhere All at Once sort of like on lock here? You think one of the other ones is a challenger?
So right now, if you look at the betting odds, or if you just listen to podcasts or people talking or people writing, it's between Everything All at Once and the Banshees of Inisherin. Those are kind of the top 2 that I've seen. I didn't love both of those movies. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once winning would be a very cool story. Even though it wasn't my personal favorite movie, I can understand why it's a capturing of the culture moment, if you will, and how the majority of people find something to connect with it and it really resonates with them and sticks with them. It just didn't for me. So I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win. In terms of after that, I think the Banshees would maybe be second. I think, frankly, Top Gun Maverick might get third because people will cast it a bronze medal vote because Tom Cruise saved the movie theater industry and it was fantastic. But I think it's really between those 2, and I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to take it.
Yeah, I think Everywhere All at Once is my favorite here. I think
Is it? Do you like it the most out of the ones that you've
I
seen?
I do. I would put
Really?
yes. I did love that movie. I first when I watched it, I was like, this one's it stuck with me the most of everything anyway I watched this year.
What? Why did it stick with you the most? What about it?
I just felt
What
like
about it made you keep thinking about it?
I liked like the sort of like got me thinking the multiverse possibilities, like all these different lives that Michelle Yeoh's character could be living here, and seeing like the performances of Katie Kwan also was really good. It sucked me in here, and I like did like to seeing like all the ridiculous things, whether it's the hot dog lady or like her being an actress, like all that stuff, sort of like got me like sort of into it.
I I don't like the multiverse stuff. I think me and you just differ here. Like for me, if I had to pick, I would be between Top Gun Maverick and Tar. And if you just we'll take Tar because Tar is the exact opposite of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
It's a world that is made so realistic people think it's real. It's a world that focuses on just one thing about conducting an orchestra and being a maestro. It's complete opposite of Everything Everywhere All at Once in terms of the vibrant colors versus the dull gray and blue of Todd Field's work. It's very interesting how our 2 favorite movies slash best made movies of the year are 2 polar opposite things.
yeah. It's very fun that way. I will say though, like I'm telling you, All Quiet on the Western Front's a sleeper for me in this category.
Listen, I'm very excited to watch it. Very excited to watch it, and I hope that it's great.
Yeah,
Because I'll be honest with you, saw the original. I saw it in school back when I was in high school. I was bored.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that this one doesn't give me the same thing. Now, granted, I watched it a long time ago and my brain has changed since then, but I'm very excited to watch it. 9 Oscar nominations is no slouch.
Like it's incredibly well acted here, and like I think the subtitles do also add to the experience here. So I do think it's worth like keeping the subs on for this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, here. So now that we have that wrapped up here, apart from the Oscar movies, what else have you, apart from the Best Picture sort of nominees here, what else have you been watching lately?
Well, let's see. Just chowing through some other Oscar nominations on my train where I don't feel bad about watching on my phone. The documentary Fire of Love, which is I think on Hulu and maybe Disney Plus. It I don't want to call it a must watch because that's crazy, but it's a you should really, 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 really watch. Have you heard about the Fire of Love? Do you know what this movie's about?
I have heard, I've not gotten to it yet.
So, for those who don't know, it's nominated for Best Documentary. It's about two French volcanic scientists. They're married, and it's all archival footage about their life and what happened to them and what they do. And it's insane. It's insane the archival footage. You have people standing in front of lava waterfalls 10 feet away from it. Just absolutely insane. So that's one that you should definitely watch. And then I've been getting into the animated short film game, and I've seen all 5 that are nominated. And I gotta tell you, one of my favorite movies of the year is called My Year of Dicks, and it's I swear this is a real movie. It's incredible. It's a short animated film about a young woman who wants to lose her virginity and trying to lose it to a bunch of different men of various ages and backgrounds and cultures. And obviously the title's a little bit of a double entendre because she wants the dick, but also because she's trying to get with dicks who are bad people. And it's a learning experience, and it's so personal and thought provoking, and it made me think back to that time when all you thought about was sex and stuff like that back in high school. And the courage to make a movie and tell your story like that, I think takes big balls. And the way it's told, it sticks with me. And I swear to God, it's probably one of my 10 favorite movies of the year because with that title, I had no idea what to expect, and it still blew me out of the water.
That's good to know here. I throw a couple things out I've been watching lately. Obviously, I just got on the Last of Us train, so I'm very excited to see how that goes here. And in terms of like Stanko, you a big Mafia guy?
I enjoy mafia things for sure.
Yeah. If you have Peacock, I have a reality show I'll recommend for you.
Reality mafia show.
Yes, it's called The Traitors on there, and it's a cast basically of 20 people, hosted by Alan Cummings, and they filmed at a castle in Scotland, and they have basically a bunch of reality people, along with some average Joes, and they play basically a glorified game of mafia with like with 3 traitors in the mix and 17 faithfuls, and they play it out over 10 episodes. It is fantastic.
I just saw a clip from this, no joke, like
It, it,
5 minutes before I got on with you. There's an old Bachelor person on it, right? Ari, I
Ari's
think.
yeah, Ari's on it. They have a couple of people from Survivor on. It's a couple of people from Big Brother. There's people from like I think Brandy Glanville's on it. There's a whole like interesting group of people there.
Yeah, it's okay. So I have heard of this. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a reality show. I didn't know it was on Peacock, but I may have to give it a shot because I someone was telling Ari that he sucks and that she hated him when she was on his season or something like that. I don't know. There was some drama that was involved with the Bachelor universe, so I was intrigued. So now I might have to check it out.
Yeah, Ryan Lochte's on this show.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of big names on this show, and
Um,
it's so fun. And Martin Cummings is in his bag.
all right. Well, hey, I mean, all the power to you if you can find another reality TV show. The only one I watch is The Bachelor, and Zach Shallcross is getting himself into some drama.
Yeah,
But the Last of Us, man, me and Emma are up to date, and you got to keep on watching because the show is incredible.
I also ask you, did you give Kaleidoscope a shot on Netflix?
No, it's in my queue. It's in my queue. I haven't watched yet, but I've heard only good things.
It's a lot of fun. I did enjoy the experience. I did come up my own random order because I know they sort of had their way you can game the system here. Like,
Yeah.
if you want after the show, I will tell you my personal order that I recommend watching the show in.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Is it a show that you could watch in the background while doing something else, or do you need to focus on it 110%?
If you want to get all the clues, you kind of have to focus in on it.
Okay.
Yeah, because like there will be stuff that pays off, and like because each episode is named by a color,
Yep.
basically. So like there'll be stuff that pays off. They mentioned like one episode takes like 25 years for life that pays off. I think in the heist episode. So
Okay. All right. Well, I can watch all right while I'm riding the bike, but that's good to know.
yeah, that's I recommend that as well. It's like it's not the greatest the premises they did not warrant necessarily like I think the gimmick sort of used to draw people in, but the show is fun.
Hey, as long as it's funny, you're not bored while watching it, then all the power to you. Entertainment's subjective. Have a good time.
All right. And last and not least here, we talk about the movies here because obviously you're the big movie guy. We're going to get back at some point this summer talking about, the upcoming summer movie season. But like the next like month or so, what movies are you looking forward to?
Listen, there's a lot of good movies coming out, and we're talking about the Oscars, right? We're talking about critically revered actors going for awards. We're going for cinematography, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to watch some slop.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to watch something that's gonna get your juices going and just makes you smile and happy.
Yeah.
The first we got Creed 3. It's probably not going to win any awards next year, but hell, you're going to watch Michael B. Jordan kick the shit out of Jonathan Majors and hopefully a fantastic trilogy. It's
He's
like,
having a moment too, Jonathan Majors.
oh my God, a huge moment. Absolutely. Michael B. Jordan came into the Barstool office last week. One, stunningly handsome man. Two, I've never seen so many women try and sneak a photo in my entire life. Oh my God. It was as if the phone paparazzi was out. They were walking into the one room that he was having an interview in, and it was as if like Shutterfly had hired 1,000 photographers to take photos that day. It was nuts. Though they weren't allowed to post any of them until after the interview aired, but it was crazy. So there's Creed 3. Listen, I'm excited for Scream 6. Ghostface in New York. The trailers have been dope. Ghostface has a shotgun. I'm all in for some horror movies. I plan on rewatching all the Scream movies. So in for that. 65, Adam Driver killing dinosaurs with a Halo looking gun. Yeah, color me excited. This movie came on during the Super Bowl, and a bunch of people were like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, that's 65. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And then we got John Wick Chapter 4. Mike, you already know I'm a huge fan. Love the franchise. Just give me the high table because John Wick's going to jump on top of it and shoot a bunch of people in the head. And I'm going to cheer the entire time. And the last one, because I'm kind of a nerd, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I think it looks fun. It probably isn't going to be very good, but Chris Pine being a sassy little robber, if you will, a gallivanting across the land with thieves and mages and goblins. Yeah, I'm excited. Let him battle some giants. Let him save the world. I don't care. I recently watched Vox Machina season 1. Had a fantastic time with the Dungeons and Dragons vibe. Now give me a real motion picture. Yes, I'm all in.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. What do you think is going to end up being better, Dungeons and Dragons or Super Mario movie?
I think the Super Mario movie is going to make over $1 billion. But I think I'm gonna have a better time watching Dungeons and Dragons, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's gonna make sense. My second question here, follow up here, is like John Wick's gonna take place is coming out in the middle of the NCAA tournament. You're gonna be up to your eyeballs in work here. So like, what city do you think you're gonna be watching this movie in?
Oh, March 24th. That is the second. No, is that the first play-in day? No, that's the second play-in day.
Second weekend, yeah.
I am going to be in Columbus, Ohio for 4 days. And then I come back Saturday nights. And then guess who has nothing going on Sunday? This guy. This guy right here. So guess who's planning a dinner and movie date with his fiance?
Yeah.
This guy. We're going that Sunday after it comes out.
Yeah, at the good old Alamo Draft House.
No, we're gonna go to the local movie theater that's a half mile down the road.
Yeah. It sounds like a good time either way.
I'm very excited. I got Emma to like John Wick. So yes, I'm very excited. Though I gotta say, this year, the year 2022, Mike, was the year I went to the movie theaters the least amount of times, probably since I could drive, I think. I don't know if I'm changing, I don't know if the world's changing, but like I went to go see Avatar and I had to scream at kids to shut up for half the movie because they were literally throwing popcorn and talking behind me and I was getting hit by popcorn.
Yeah.
So I'm now an old grumpy old man who will most likely wait till streaming for movies that unless he really, really wants to see, I'm just gonna wait at home and watch at the comfort of my living room.
Yeah, like for example, like Shazam, I want to see, but I'm gonna wait for that one.
Right. I'm just gonna wait for that. Like As much as I love Scream 6, it's probably going to be on Paramount Plus within a month of it being on movie theaters. So I got to see when that's going to come out. Like, I'm excited for these movies, but I'm not excited to be stressed out going to a movie theater to see if I'm going to hate people or not when I come out.
Yeah,
So,
I think Creed 3 is probably the one I'm most excited for of this upcoming batch here. I'm curious to see how this does with that. It's like what this feels like without Stallone being involved at all.
I mean, the from the movie people at Barstool who saw the screener, they said it was better than Creed 2, but not as good as the first one. And they say it's a very, very good directorial debut for Michael B. Jordan. So that's the TLDR review of Creed 3 from those who could speak about it softly.
All right, so that's good to know because we ranked the Rocky movies in the podcast last week, and your rankings were part of the list, even though you were not able to physically be on the podcast. And you did help push the list a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, there's only one movie, only one Rocky movie I'll never watch, and that's Rocky 5 because it doesn't exist. So otherwise, I'll watch every single other one. I'll watch them all if they're on TV or something like that.
Yeah, Rocky 5 is a fever dream.
Rocky 5 is how and why did that movie get made? Someone needs to make a 25-minute expose on what went on behind the scenes during that movie. I will never get it.
Yeah, I won't either, John. Thanks all the time. Really appreciate it. People want to follow you on social media. Hear some of your musings on the movies. How can I do that?
Musings on movies. I like that. I might take that one. You could follow me on stankostance.com. Almost going on a year of posting something every day, whether it be nonsense or not. And then on Twitter, on my social media handles at jstanko99.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.